So I'm pleased to be joined with Rachel Colman. You are a artist originally from Altona, living in Winnipeg now, and you have a new album coming out this weekend called Make Away. We're going to dive all into that and everything, like your music journey. So I guess a good place to start, to introduce you to the CHVN listeners. Like, what did your music journey look like?
Oh, well, my father played guitar and sang, and he also sang in a quartet, and he made sure that I knew lots about music. And then I learned to play piano. I took piano lessons all through, and I was probably started singing in church when I was about 7 with him. And then I studied music in university at Brandon and U of M and Briarcrest a little bit, and I've been working in churches as a music director for probably 20 years now, and that venue of music is really I feel a vocation for me, and I have really good skills in it. And then kind of like after my father passed away, I came to the realization that it was time to write. And so I started writing.
And I mean, going back to, talking about that family connection, having him being in a quartet, how big of an influence was that on you and be like, okay, like he's doing that, I want to kind of follow in the footsteps in a way?
Sure. I mean, you'll notice if you hear the album that harmonies are a big deal, and you'll hear sometimes it's me, sometimes it's friends of mine, but there are great harmonies all throughout, and that's really like from singing with my dad, with my brother, I sang in a trio all through high school with a couple of friends. So, yeah.
And how would you describe your sound of music? Like if somebody was to listen to your songs, what would they expect to hear?
That's actually a hard one because it's not quite pop music. It's maybe a little bit more of like folk music, but I dabble in synthesizers as well. There's some electronics, some drums sometimes. It's generally very calming music. The topics I'm covering throughout the album are maybe like difficult emotions, difficult seasons in life, and a lot of prayers. And so there's a lot of space in the music. There's a lot of, like, some of the songs only have 2 lines of words, but there are things that will hold you through and help you pray.
And how, I don't know if difficult's the right word, but, writing through those challenging seasons of the ups and the downs, like what has that done, just as you as a writer, but then also just in your own faith?
Yeah. So one of the things I maybe not intentionally, but ended up discovering exploring through my songwriting is like when you're going through difficult seasons, like what can we say is true? What can we say God is doing for us? Because God doesn't always just like fix everything right away and make it all better. But God is really with us and present through those times. And because Jesus was incarnated as a human, he knows exactly what we're feeling and going through. And there's great comfort in that.
And so, like I said, you have a album coming out this weekend. It's online releases on Friday, and then you have a big party on Saturday. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes as well. But it's called Make Away. So, I'd love if you could kind of just share, what is the message? Is it like these tough themes that you're talking about? What's kind of the overarching message that you hope listeners will take away?
I hope that listeners will hear that it's okay to bring all your emotions to God, that God is there to hold them and to walk with you through them.
And something so simple, but, sometimes you need that simple reminder, right? And, maybe, talking about the song, the title track, Make Away, like what's kind of the heart behind that specific song? Is that what it is, or is it something different?
That song comes out of, those times when maybe you feel like you're up against a wall. You're not really sure. You're looking at the future, not really sure what's coming, not really sure what the right way is. And you can asking God to make a way, to make the way forward. And then also asking for the courage to step into whatever that path is.
And so for this album release, you have the party on Saturday. I'd love if you can kind of share the details, where, when, everything like that.
Sure thing. It's Saturday night, 7 p.m. It's October 26th at St. Michael and All Angels. Not a super well-known spot, but it might become that in the years to come. It's a beautiful old stone building, and the concert's at 7, and it's on Hugo Street, just south of Corridon.
Yeah. And is it just like free for everybody to attend? Your welcoming community?
No. So it's $20 per person.
Okay.
At the door, it's cash only. There are tickets on Eventbrite if you would rather.
Mm-hmm.
And CDs will be for sale at discounts at the concert. And I have 2 special guests. Trish V and Aaron Prop are also singing. And they will be joining with me on my music, but they will also do some of their own.
And maybe if listeners aren't familiar with them, how would you describe that, not partnership because there's 3 of you, but like that trio of you guys?
Sure. So Erin is actually well known in the jazz community. She's a singer-songwriter, also a really great jazz singer. And I went to school with her in university, but we've taken songwriting courses together recently. And I love listening to her sing. So. And then Trish is also a member of St. Benedict's Table, and so I make music with her on a regular basis. So
then you're just used to her and comfortable, and you know it's probably nice to get to celebrate with somebody familiar too.
Most definitely. And she has some of her own music out there too.
So then it's like you can find maybe 3 new artists to listen to if you come to the concert, right?
Yeah.
And, if someone wants to follow along with your music journey, obviously you have this album coming out, but then, come future, any other projects that you have working on, where's the best place for them to kind of stay up to date with you?
You can go to my website. It's rachelcolmanmusic.com. Colman is spelled without an E. I have to say that every time. So it's just Colman. And you can join my mailing list. You can find me on social media. And I'll be releasing this album, probably doing some touring, and then we'll see what comes next.
But then follow and stay up to date so you're one of the first to know, right?
You bet.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us, and we're excited to see your music and kind of how God's going to lead you in your music journey.
Thank you so much.